If you ever feel held back by your emotions, that you want to switch them off or control them efficiently, this is the episode for you. Hello. Before we start today's episode, if you would like a condensed version of what I'm talking about in this podcast, go ahead and subscribe to the Perfectionist Guide. You can read the entire thing in 3 minutes or less. To access this, go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/newsletter. Are you a bit of a perfectionist, type A, hyper performer? Then you know that having the audacity to see an ideal and bring it into reality while breaking generational habits of hustle can be tough, but it doesn't have to be. If you are ready to burn bright instead of burning out, to lead without losing yourself, and to enjoy the life you have worked so hard to create, then keep listening. I'm your host, America's leader on rewiring perfectionism, CLG, and this is Perfectionism Rewired, the podcast. Welcome to Perfectionism Rewired. Today, you will discover the instances that trigger us to use perfectionist tendencies as a weapon against ourselves. You will also find out what is causing you to drown in your emotions or feel held back by them. When you understand why you are doing what you are doing, when it occurs, it is so much simpler for you to solve. I'm going to reveal to you the 2 ways that you have been miseducated about emotions, along with how to unlearn them. And then I'm also going to be giving you a key question to ask yourself that will help you break the habit of perfecting your emotions. So let's get into it. Every adult that I have encountered so far in my career of 20 plus years has not been taught how to feel their feelings. What you were probably brought up with was these feelings are okay and these aren't okay. If you're sad, here's a lollipop. And for a lot of you, your feelings were dismissed or ignored. Maybe you were told to shake it off or to stop feeling that way. I was anti-feelings for a really, really long time. I wish that I was a robot. I thought that they were a major liability. I am now on the other side to let all of you know that if you have never been taught how to feel your feelings, you can become very skilled at it without becoming a total puddle or not feeling that you are in charge of what it is that you're experiencing. Even if you consider yourself an empath, I have an extensive background in energetics. And if you were to look at my human design, you would see that I have a very open chart. All of those are sort of just like excuses. If you want to take control of your feelings, if you want your feelings to not get in the way of your productivity, of your relationships, of your overall excellence, it is 100% possible. And the solution is not needing to busy yourself with that black and white thinking. As perfectionists, we tend to be afraid of feeling our feelings because we're afraid that if I feel it, I'll never get out of it. I'll feel this way forever. And then the other side of it is like, so I'm just going to make it so I don't feel anything at all. Capitalism thrives. They make a lot of money, like trillions and billions of dollars, by conditioning us that we need to do something to change our feelings, like go to Disneyland, instead of understanding them and making space for them. Because of this miseducation or non-education around emotions, most of us perfectionists and high achievers, we don't know the difference, for example, between self-compassion and emotional petting, or reflection versus rumination is a huge one, or discipline versus punishment, or explaining versus expressing a feeling. This is why inside of Perfectionism Optimized, I give you all the resources and coaching so you can develop the skills of knowing the difference between dignity and respect and self-compassion versus emotional petting. You are no longer ruminating because you know the difference between reflection and rumination, and explaining versus expressing a feeling. What I have noticed through coaching hundreds of perfectionists and people who have perfectionistic tendencies is that if you are wanting to stop being a perfectionist, what's behind that is that you are not in control. This is how it was for me. Your perfectionism comes out not because you want it to, but because you need it to. Your perfectionistic tendencies are an unhealthy coping mechanism. And when you are not in charge of your perfectionism and you are not deciding when, where, and how much you use it, you are not behind the driver's seat of your Ferrari drive, it comes out in the form of being controlling, people-pleasing, overworking, procrastinating, avoiding. An example for you is when I was 30 years old, I got this, what I thought was my dream job of heading up public relations and communications for Awesomeness. At the time, we were part of DreamWorks, and I got this head of PR job at Awesomeness. They created the position for me, and they relocated me from San Francisco to LA when I was 30 years old. I was like, oh my God, I am like living the dream life. I didn't want to feel rejected when I was there. So I people pleased. I was so not LA, as my boss told me, and I felt inadequate because I didn't have the same background as everyone else there. So I overworked. I never wanted to be unprepared, so I would stay up all night. I was so controlling because of my own discomfort with feeling all of these emotions and being in a whole new city in my 30s, not knowing anyone, like just all this change that I was doing on my own. My perfectionism came out in very unhealthy ways. This goes back to our last episode about building new neural pathways. When you build new neural pathways, it gives you options for how to feel. It really changes your perception point. Oh, also, this is really less about why when we talk about using your perfectionism as a coping mechanism. Like if you're looking for your reason as to why your perfectionism is on autopilot, it's not because your parents only praised you and you did everything perfectly when you were 6. Like none of that matters. The only thing that matters is today. Like you're not an archaeologist. We are architects. We are building your future. And so what we want to figure out is why you are choosing to perfect your emotions today? Why are you choosing to run over your emotions today? Why are you choosing to be paralyzed by your emotions today? And we got to get really sharp at figuring that out. There are techniques in order to do that that I give you inside of Perfectionism Optimized. I decided that for this episode, I'm going to give you a piece of one of those skills, and that is expressing versus explaining your feelings so that you are better equipped after listening to this episode on how to feel your feelings, because perfectionists tend to either overexpress and underexplain their feelings or underexpress and overexplain their feelings. And both of those are what you want to unlearn. What happens so often is that my clients will come to me and they'll say, I've gotten therapy, I've done coaching before, I'm good with handling my emotions. But actually what they're doing is that they are overexpressing and underexplaining them, or they're underexpressing and overexplaining them. So explaining your feelings is saying what happened, what is happening, or what you are anticipating will happen. Expressing your feelings is verbalizing how you feel about what happened, how you feel about what is happening, or how you feel about what might happen. So an example of this is, I'm in the depths of despair. That is expressing your feelings. My mom was hit by a car yesterday and died is explaining your feelings. I'm in the depths of the despair. My mom was hit by a car yesterday and died. That is expressing and explaining your feelings. When you overexpress and underexplain, you know that this is you if you just feel like you are drowning in feelings. Like when you feel something, maybe it gets you down for a couple days and you just feel like you are perpetually treading water in a lake of feelings. And the reason why this happens is because you're not giving your emotions a way to evolve into insight. And you're going around in circles thinking and talking and ruminating about how you feel without anchoring anchoring your emotions into who, what, when, where, and why. And without those contextually for your subconscious, no story can be formed. When there aren't any logistical landmarks within your emotional experience, it's very disorienting. Like, you might know how you feel, but without the explanation part, you can't find patterns or triggers. And what's most key here is that you're unable to create sustainable solutions and protocols to help you navigate your emotions in the future. The solve for this is to learn how to feel and explain instead of exhausting yourself. My client Veronica used to get swept up in an emotion and it would take her down for days. She had done therapy. She had lots of coaches before me. I was her first perfectionist coach. She knew how to talk about how she felt, but she asked me, how can I handle this moving forward? And so we got to know her human design, like how energetically she processes emotion. And I gave her tools so that she had space to integrate what she was feeling and hold perspective. So now when feelings happen, it doesn't come over her like a tidal wave where she's wiping out. The other side of emotions and where you're likely getting it wrong is if you underexpress your feelings and overexplain. How you know that this is happening for you is you intellectualize a lot and you talk around the issue, but you don't actually go there. My client Jamal was like this. He wanted to be a better role model for his sons and a better leader at his company. He was brought up that being a Black man, he always needed to be calm, cool, and collected. He was taught that emotions made him weak. And what he realized through our work together in Perfectionism Optimized is that he had a really limited feeling vocabulary. He was like, it's as though I only had 20 words. By expanding his vocabulary and really figuring out, okay, what's a feeling and what's an emotion, he's no longer perfecting his emotions or people pleasing because he is now confident that he can speak to someone about what's bothering him or advocate for his teams at work without losing his cool. You might not know how to feel your feelings right now, and that's totally okay. That is why I created all of the tools and resources inside Perfectionism Optimized so that you will get skilled at this. It's not if, it's not maybe, it's like you will get skilled at this because if I can, you can too. You 16 weeks from now, you can get to a place where you can feel any emotion and not feel the need to people please over them or to perfect over them. And if you're telling yourself right now, I can't handle my feelings, that's a lie because you're handling them right now. You're just doing it in a way that doesn't help you and that could be a lot more efficient and effective for you. What if you could move through challenges in a resilient way? What if you could be understanding and hold perspective? Because you and I both know that it's not about being happy all the time. When you are a rewired and healthy perfectionist, you will still encounter disappointment. The difference is that you know what to do with it and you know how to make space for it and integrate it into the bigger experience that you're having. So no longer do those negative emotions eclipse your whole landscape. 2 questions to help you ask yourself, what else am I feeling right now? Because we are never just feeling one thing. And a lot of times we tend to be over-indexed on the emotion that we are most uncomfortable with. So ask yourself, what else am I feeling right now? Stay on your mind. I might not want to answer it, but like stay on to yourself. You will be able to write down at least 5 things and it will be able to dissipate the activation that you have inside of you. And then the second question that you can ask during or before you're about to start perfecting your feelings, ask yourself, if I wasn't going to people please, if I wasn't going to perfect this project, if I wasn't going to procrastinate, if I wasn't going to overwork, what is it that I truly need in this moment? Then be there for yourself and do that. And if you want help with any of this, come and work with me. You can go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/services. I will also put a link in the show notes. Getting in charge of your emotions makes it so that your emotions no longer get in the way of your life. You get to be in control of them instead of them controlling you.